For James Groves, Wednesday's ceremony at the Arbors was about more than the pin that was placed on his shirt. Nearby were his granddaughter, Catherine Stearns, and his 13-month-old great-grandson, Roman Oliver, part of his family that has heard some of Groves' stories from his more than 30 years in the military, and they know that there are others he may never tell.
If there is a pure example of a man to look up to, it would be my grandfather. There is nothing that he cannot do and nothing that he would not do for his country and his people and his family. He is a man who has so much honor and has sacrificed greatly and done everything for his country, and I will never be able to repay the debt.
Groves was one of 9 veterans who live at the Arbors assisted living facility in Russellville who were honored on Wednesday during a veterans pinning ceremony arranged by Hospice Home Care of Russellville. Emily England with Hospice Home Care said the ceremony was organized simply as a way to thank veterans in the community for their service. Sergeant First Class John Reinold of the Arkansas Army National Guard spoke during the ceremony about what military service asks of those who serve and about the importance of listening when veterans are willing to share their experiences. He encouraged people to take time to hear veteran stories that can easily be lost as generations pass. Those stories were not hard to find among the veterans gathered at the Arbors. James Groves served in both the Navy and Army during a military career that stretched more than 30 years. His assignments took him from Korea early in his career to Vietnam later, where he served as a combat intelligence officer. Asked why he chose military service, Groves' answer was simple.
That was my calling. It was always my intent.
For Stearns, some of the most meaningful moments come when her grandfather decides to talk about those years.
There are some things he won't talk about, but there are things that if I'm blessed enough to get him going on, he'll talk for hours.
Today, Groves has family close by in Russellville. After his wife died, he said his children wanted him to move closer to family. His granddaughter has since moved to the area as well, giving him something his military assignments could never have provided, a great-grandson just down the road. Groves still speaks proudly of the country he spent so much of his life serving.
This is the greatest country there is, and we have the greatest military that there is. And I'd like to see more young people serve in the military.
The 9 men honored on Wednesday did not all have the same military experience. Tom Turner entered the Army through ROTC in college and received his commission after graduation. He trained at Fort Knox, Kentucky at a time when the Vietnam War was winding down. Turner ultimately spent 6 months on active duty and most of his 8 years in service in the reserves, leaving the military as a captain. He said the leadership and organizational skills he learned in the military followed him into civilian life and proved useful during a long career in retail, including his years with Walmart. Turner has lived in Russellville since 1983 and now has 2 daughters, a granddaughter, and 2 great-grandsons in the area. One of the family traditions he treasures is a simple one, eating together after church on Sundays. Asking what he would tell someone considering military service, Turner said it can be a way to serve the country, but one that does come with a commitment.
If you want to serve your country, the military is a good way to do that. But I mean, you got to be willing to go where they want you to go and do what they ask you to do.
Dwey Klutz's path began in 1957 when he received his draft papers just as he was getting out of high school. Rather than wait to be drafted, he enlisted in the Air Force. Klutz trained in electronics, radar, and air traffic control before working in early warning radar. He had hoped the Air Force might send him to Japan or Germany. Instead, one assignment kept him in his home state of Oklahoma before another sent him much farther north to a remote radar site in Ontario, Canada.
The field I was in was called early warning radar and early traffic warning and air traffic control. Sent me to Pagwa River, Ontario, Canada.
65 Hallozy.
We were at what we call the Pine Tree Line. There's 2 or 3 radar lines in Canada. Pine Tree Line, Dew Line, where it was cold, and just watching for aircraft coming into the United States.
The cold apparently made an impression. Klutz said he considered staying in the military while he was in Canada, but he ultimately decided he had experienced enough snow and sub-zero weather for one career. His life eventually brought him to Russellville, where he met his wife, Linda. The two will celebrate 50 years of marriage in December. Their recollection of those early days came with the easy back and forth of a couple who have been telling the story for a long time, including a disagreement over whether Dwey first noticed Linda or the yellow Corvette that she was driving.
Well, at the time, she was driving a yellow Stingray Corvette, kind of a pretty little girl. I don't think that entered my mind at the time, but
the Corvette did.
They joked back and forth over the origin story of their half-century love affair before they went on to talk about their family, the careers they both had, and how a bum hip now keeps Dwey from enjoying his favorite hobby of golf. It was the kind of exchange that underscored Reinhold's message on Wednesday. Behind every pin is much more than a branch of service, a rank, or deployment. There are decades of stories of wars and radar stations, careers and moves, marriages and children, Sunday dinners, and great-grandchildren. For a few moments Wednesday, Hospice Home Care and the Arbors made sure 9 of those stories and the veterans who lived them were recognized with a simple message: thank you.